Welcome back everyone. Today we will be beginning with session 4 of the week 5 of the course Retail Marketing Strategy. If you remember, in the last session we had a discussion about the sustainable competitive advantage. I had given you a brief overview about what are the factors that will actually bring long sustainable competitive advantage to an organization or a retailer per se, vis-a-vis factors that can also be utilized for short-term gains or short-term advantages. But today we will be talking a little more about it, or maybe a little deeper. So as far as this module is concerned, we will be continuing with the part of achieving sustainable competitive advantage. Apart from that, we will be looking at the strategic retail planning process. So as I was telling you, if you can recollect, this was the slide which we has discussed in the last session, where we looked at a lot of factors which can be allied with source of advantage, like customer loyalty, location, human resources, unique merchandise, vendor relations, distribution and information systems, and customer service. So we also looked at what is going to be less sustainable and what is going to be more sustainable, right? Like if you talk about customer loyalty, if the customer is only repurchasing products from you again and again, this is going to be less sustainable, because this might be precisely happening because of the limited competition, right? But what is more sustainable is the fact that you end up building brand image with an emotional connection, which means the prospects or the customers can actually emotionally connect with your brand. They have feelings of happiness or maybe delight, or they enjoy using your brand or precisely coming to your retail store if you are talking about particularly retailing. Like when you talk about locations, what is going to be more sustainable is convenient locations, and this precisely happens because of the fact locations cannot be easily copied, right? And when you talk about human resources, committed and knowledgeable employees are going to bring in more value as compared to simply having more employees, or maybe count of the employees is more but they are not able to deliver, or they are not well trained with respect to establishing relationships with the customers. Now with respect to merchandise, it is always exclusive and unique value offerings that are going to bring you more sustainable advantage as compared to offering more merchandise. Likewise, we also briefly discussed about the factors regarding vendor relations, distribution and information systems, and finally customer service. But today we will be digging a lot more into these. When we talk about customer loyalty, we need to understand what customer loyalty is, right? So if you look at it in a technical sense, this is likelihood of doing repeat business with any organization or retailer. When you look at it specifically from a retailer's perspective, customer loyalty simply indicates that the customers are coming back to you again and again. It is also like customers' choice and willingness to repeatedly return to a company to do business, right? So as you can see on the screen, it is more like commitment to buy merchandise and services from a retailer on regular basis. But this is simply more than liking the retailer, right? You might like a retailer for many reasons, but you might decide to not go back to them time and again. Now this will not qualify as a loyalty, right? So as it is written, it is more like patronizing a retail store on regular basis or for longer times. It means, let's say if you want to buy groceries like back to back every month, you might decide to go back to the same retailer. Now that can be considered as a case of loyalty. Let's say in a particular month you are switching, you might decide to go to a different retailer, then next month to a different retailer, precisely because they are offering you more of sales promotions offers, which eventually lead to more of discounts. Maybe this is how we are looking at it in this particular context. Now that will not qualify as loyalty, right? Because you are switching. But in loyalty, what happens is, even when the other retailers are providing you incremental benefits, you decide to not to switch them. Now this is precisely going to happen for a lot of reasons, but one of them can be when you work on building strong relationships with the customers. When you keep in touch with them, you provide them best of customer services, you make sure that you are successfully creating delighted factors whenever they are visiting to your store. So we'll also be discussing about this a lot more. But as far as this is concerned, my question is, have you ever heard about 3 R's of customers loyalty? Now we are not talking about the RRR movie, but what we will be learning is precisely about the 3 R's of loyalty. Now these are rewards, relevance and recognize. So the first R is about rewards. So this is basically a transactional part of the program, or maybe you can say transactional part of the interactions that the customer is having with you, right? So one thing which becomes important is that you should have a mechanism of providing rewards to the customers, which eventually will lead to customer loyalty in a lot of sense, right? Because if you keep providing them something that gives them a reason to come back to you again and again, so that eventually will stimulate customer loyalty, right? But see, there are a few factors that you need to kind of consider whenever you are thinking of rewards as a retailer. Now this has to be something which should make sense, or it should be tangible in nature. Tangible as in which customer can feel and actually recognize, right? If you are giving them a reward and they can't even register that this is the benefit that you are providing into them, just imagine it is going to be a complete futile exercise, right? So one thing which you need to make sure is that reward should be tangible. Tangible in the sense like it's not like you need to touch and feel them. It means that the customer should be in a position to register and recognize that the rewards are being provided to them. Another thing is that whenever you talk about rewards, the mechanism or the process of accessing those rewards should not be too complicated or should not be too time consuming. Let's say if you are saying, if you kind of have 20 transactions with me, only then I'll be providing you this reward, and then the reward is also very minuscule in nature, then definitely it is not going to make much of sense, right? So this in a way also captures the essence of relevance whenever we are talking about rewards, right? So relevance precisely also comes from the fact that you analyze customers' journeys in detail. Now let's say you could have many stages: awareness, interest, desire, action, and post-purchase behavior, right? If we look at a customer journey from the perspective of AI DAS model, right? Now in this case you have to see at which stage rewards are going to make more of sense. See, many times you might give rewards to a person when they are not aware, and you want to create an interest with respect to that particular prospect or customer, and you want them to visit your retail store time and again. Now that can also be one of the cases. In other ways, when you eventually want to push an action, they are aware, they also have a liking for your product, they also have a desire with respect to the product also in visiting your retail store as well. So many times in order to induce or stimulate an action as in that they visit your retail store and make purchases from there, you might be giving rewards at this stage also. So as far as the context of relevance is concerned, I am again repeating it, the crux lies in understanding customer journey and then kind of finding out where the rewards will make more of sense for the customers. And see, it also has to be something which is meaningful. Many times while using Google Pay, you must have realized you are making a transaction for rupees 5,000 or let's say 20,000, and the reward that you get is 4 rupees, 5 rupees, and many times 2 rupees. Or sometimes you also get coupons which you think will not make any sense to you, right? So this actually kind of makes the whole exercise futile, or it is not bringing in any benefit as far as your relationship with the customers is concerned. So you also need to understand that you have a robust mechanism for rewards, and you can also figure out what kind of rewards is to be given, whether it has to be a cashback, whether it has to be a discount, or it has to be a discount coupon which can be utilized at another retailer, or it can also be a reward which can be allied with future purchases. Now that is something that the organization or the retailer has to figure out with respect to the consumers that you have, or which you think will work best for your target market, right? So the third R is recognize, which means you need to recognize your loyal customers, and after that the whole objective should be about making them your advocates. And whenever we are talking about advocates, we are talking about a group of customers who will be defending you. Let's say if something is writing bad about a particular retail store or a product on social media platforms, they'll be able to defend it. They'll talk positively about your brand, which means the positive word of mouth indeed is also going to bring in a lot more benefits. So I'm again repeating it, whenever you are talking about recognizing, you need to take your customers from the journey of, let's say, even when they don't want your brand or they are in your prospects list, strangers, you need to make them your customers, and finally you have to work towards making them your advocates, where the whole benefit lies in having a group of customers who actually will be working as your marketers. They'll be talking about your brand positively, they'll be writing positively about your brand on social media platforms, and you can thus imagine the reach which they are going to bring in. So these are the 3 R's which I hope gave you an enhanced perspective about the context of customer loyalty, right? Now see, you might be wondering, how can a retailer develop customer loyalty? If you remember in the initial discussion, I told you maybe this can be done by working on relationships, right? But there are a lot more things which can be done vis-a-vis as far as the context of developing customer loyalty is concerned. Customer loyalty as in you are making sure that the customer will be coming back to your retail store only even when the competitors are offering some kind of incremental benefits. So these are the factors which we precisely look at with respect to developing customer loyalty. So first is working towards building a very robust or a positive brand image. Second is when you create a very unique positioning of your brand, positioning as in how the consumers or prospects are actually perceiving your brand to be. When you have unique merchandise to offer, we'll also be looking at the examples of, let's say, Flipkart, Amazon, as far as the context of unique merchandise is concerned. Another factor is when you offer excellent service and when you have a very good product and service, and you also work towards developing a very strong or very effective customer relationship management program, and finally when you work towards building a retail community also. So all these factors are indeed going to bring you a lot of benefits as far as developing customer loyalty is concerned. Now see, whenever we are talking about brand image, what we need to understand is the meaning, right? Brand image simply means how consumers think of the brand, right? Let's say if I say Apple, you might have different thoughts. You might consider the product to be very classy, very upper class, very elite and expensive also. Whereas if I give you an example of, let's say, a brand which is basically operating in domestic markets and is a national level brand, maybe XYZ, you might have different thoughts about it. So brand image basically is about how consumers think of the brand. And if you want to understand this technically, it is all about a combination of emotions, reputation, belief and impression, right? Emotions means, see, emotions are going to develop one on the basis of integrated marketing communication program that a marketer implements. What is the message that they are trying to pass it on to the consumers? Now that can be related to the benefits which can be associated with the brand. It can also be looked at it from the perspective of the relationship which they are trying to develop, the emotions that they are trying to stimulate vis-a-vis that particular brand or retailer is concerned. Now it also takes account of the reputation and beliefs and impression as far as a particular retailer is concerned. Now whenever you are talking about beliefs, it technically indicates the mental stance or your mental thought processes that you might have towards a particular retailer. The impression indicates most precisely what you have made out of that brand on the basis of the interactions that you have had with them. There could be a possible situations where, let's say, when you went to a particular retailer for the first time, you had a very good experience and you started forming positive attitude towards it. But in the consequential events or visits, you realized that you did not have a great experience, the sale promotions offers was not that good, even the variety of the products which was available was not very good. So the impressions might change. So what I am trying to tell you is the impression that you have of a retailer, which also gets translated into the beliefs that you might have about a retailer, is going to change on the basis of the interactions that you have with them on regular basis, right? So in ways it also indicates that a retailer needs to be on toes always to make sure that right kind of impressions or positive impressions are being created. But to sum up, it is indeed an aggregate of beliefs, ideas, impressions in conjunctions with the emotions, and it is certainly an outcome of the consumer's experiences with the brand or based on their beliefs how the brand is, which I just explained you now, right? The brand image is shaped by various factors. Now this could be dependent upon visual identity. What is the logo? What are the colors which are being used? What is the typography? Typography as in art of arranging text and letters. Now this can be related to how the brand is being represented, how it is written or how the logo is being represented, right? Apart from that, messaging and communication strategies, precisely an integrated marketing communication campaign which a retailer adopts is also going to impact brand image, because see, what you are communicating or how you want your brand to be positioned or what you want others to perceive it to be like is eventually going to get reflected in the communication strategies or communication that you are having with the prospects or your existing customers. Product quality is also going to impact brand image, right? So this is one thing on which we cannot compromise, right? You might have a brand which is not spending too much on marketing communications, but when people buy their product, they have best of experiences using it in terms of the quality, right? So that is also going to bring in a positive brand image. We also consider factors like customer service, corporate social responsibility initiatives which are being taken by a retailer or a marketer in general, and overall customer experience. So all these factors are collectively going to impact the brand image of a particular retailer or a marketer, right? So these elements come together to create a specific perception and association in the minds of consumers. See, one thing which I want you to understand here is brand image indeed exists in the mind of the consumers itself. What the marketer or the retailer can specifically do is work towards creating the kind of brand image which they want, and that again needs to get translated into the integrated marketing communications program which they are having, right? And see, we all know that the market today is kind of, cluttered with a lot of retailers. If I want to buy groceries, I might have 5-6 options even within that 1 or 2 kilometers range, right? But what is going to work is the positive brand image. So certainly it is crucial for the success and growth of the brand. It helps to build trust and loyalty among customers, but it also provides you avenues to differentiate yourself from the brand or from other retailers that exist in that particular vicinity, and then again it also provides you avenues from attracting new customers, right? So a strong brand image can also command premium pricing and create a sense of credibility and authority in the market. Once you have established a very strong brand image which is quite positive, you will also be in a position to command higher prices as compared to other retailers who are operating in the same area, who are competing with you. But this again has to be done very strategically depending upon the kind of product categories that you are dealing with. In case of groceries, this might not work because many people might be looking for savings and discounts or daily savings as far as this particular activities or buying groceries is concerned. So this again need to be looked at from a different perspective, right? Now let's say if you are comparing these three brands, you are comparing Starbucks, CCD and Barista. Now when you are talking about Starbucks, the brand image that you might have, it is very sophisticated, it is elite, and you might also consider it to be expensive, but this also gets justified from the customer experience that they offer in their stores. But whenever you are talking about Cafe Coffee Day, you might consider it to be a precisely youth driven brand which is funky, and this also gets reflected in the ambience that they have in their stores. CCD is more about youth going to stores to have conversations or to have a good time. But if you talk about Barista, which is in a way very direct competition of CCD, at one time they are trying to project to be a place for office meetings because somehow they wanted to differentiate themselves. Another thing is the ambience many times will also indicate the brand image, right? If you talk about Starbucks, now this is basically an image of one of the biggest Starbucks roasteries in Shanghai, China. If you remember, we also had a discussion about it. So the ambience itself indicates the brand image which Starbucks want to create. Now that could be elite, very sophisticated, or offering a world class coffee experience. Whereas if you talk about Barista and Cafe Coffee Day, it is completely different as far as Starbucks is concerned, right? So maybe on the basis of these images, I want you to highlight certain things that you think the ambience indicates in case of brand image. So please head to the forum and we'll be happy to read your views there about your thought processes with respect to how ambience can actually impact brand image. So as we move further, if you remember, I also talked about the context of emotions allied with brand image. Now many times you will see retailers will also be doing a lot of activities or will have strategic planning with respect to how emotions can be stimulated. So one such very popular or excellent example can be Happy Meals, which was indeed a very popular product by McDonald's, where along with burgers they were offering kind of a bundle. Along with the meal, the kids were also getting some toys. Now this can be considered as a way out to stimulate emotions. So many parents were simply visiting McDonald's because the kids wanted to go there, or the children wanted to go there precisely because they would get an Happy Meal along with the burger. So as far as this particular example is concerned, we'll be looking at this fantastic video which has been derived from the official McDonald's YouTube channel. So please enjoy this video, and this in a way will give you a context of how emotions can be stimulated as far as the retail experiences are concerned. But see, this is one way of looking at emotions, but the other way is definitely going to be the emotions that you associate with the brand with respect to the even the experiences that you might have by using their products at home or in the way that you are using them. So emotions can also be triggered in those respects. So please enjoy this video now and then we'll be moving forward.
Mama, why does the sun rise in the east?
Because the earth asked it to.
Why oranges are called orange and apples not red?
I don't know, Krish.
Mama! Mama! If birds can fly, why can't our cars?
Krish Baba, do koalas have fingerprints? Find out for yourself.
Kids always crave new stories. Feed their curiosity.
So I really hope you enjoyed looking at this video and you gained some perspective about how the emotions of happiness, joys were stimulated as far as kids or particularly children were considered as a target market segment for McDonald's. Now as we are moving forward, we'll be looking at the elements of brand image. So the first one is brand identity. Now this precisely captures the essence of visuals. Now that can be looked at from the perspective of logo, color palette which is being used, typography and overall design, right? And these elements actually are arranged in such a way that they bring in the benefits of easy recognition and memorable brand identity. Now if you look at Amazon, if you look at the arrow which connects A to Z, this indicates that everything is available on Amazon from A to Z, which means everything which you need or customers need is most precisely available. Now this logo is much more than indicating just an arrangement of letters. They are trying to indicate their philosophy that everything is available and will be largely catering to the everyday needs of the consumers. Now the next logo is definitely of Nike and just do it, right? And I am very sure you must also be able to recognize this because that's where the purpose of logos lie. Now if you look at the next logo which is of FedEx, now if you kind of very minutely look at E and X, you will be able to notice an arrow there which is all about moving forward. Now that also captures the essence of the brand, which is all about moving your parcels from one location to another in the best possible ways, and that too quite economically. Now the next logo that you see is of Burger King, and the logo indeed captures the essence of the fun and quirkiness of the brand. And the last one that you see is again one of the very popular brands, Domino's Pizza. So you might be wondering why I picked this up. So you will be surprised to know that the 3 dots indicate initial 3 stores that were established, and the idea or philosophy was to add a dot every time a new store would be opened. But they were not expecting the store to grow so faster, and initially with time as it grew 17,000 outlets were opened. So you can just imagine it would have been very difficult to keep on adding dots every time. But I really hope this definitely provided you something new as far as the brand logos were concerned. Now the next element when we look at brand image is definitely about brand positioning. Now it refers to the unique space that a brand occupies in the minds of consumers relative to competitors. See, brand positioning is all about how consumers perceive the brand. It exists in the mind of the consumers. As I was telling you earlier also, a retailer can definitely make a lot of efforts or have a very strategic integrated marketing communications program to work towards creating the image that he wants as far as a particular brand or a retailer is concerned. But eventually the ball definitely lies in the court of the consumers, and they'll be kind of processing the information which is being available to them, and then it is completely on them how they perceive a brand. And it can work well when you clearly identify a brand's target market, understand their needs, preferences, and positioning the brand accordingly, which means once you have understood your target market and you kind of figure out why they would be buying their product, what are their needs, what is it that they are specifically looking for, and if you strategize your positioning accordingly, it is definitely going to be wonderful. Now if you compare DMart and Nature's Basket, both these are positions very differently. Now if you talk about DMart, it is all about daily savings. It is more like a no frills store where you might not even find too much of the sales staff or customer service agent supporting you, because the whole ideology of DMart is to save and pass on these benefits to the customers who are visiting them daily to buy everyday needs product, which could be groceries or other things. Now the whole facet is about saving and passing it on to the customers. That's why they even project themselves to be like that. If you remember, even in their mission it is written, The whole idea is about offering benefits or value for every rupee spent. Vis-a-vis, if you look about Nature's Basket, it is more like a store which wants to offer or bring in the best of exotic products or gourmet products for their customers. They are not aligned with respect to the fact that they want to cater to customers who want to save or get best value for every rupee spent. Now see, a value proposition can also work for Nature's Basket. Let's say even if you are spending 1000 rupees on a product, you could be provided the value for the amount spent. Now it might come from the product which could be, let's say, imported from a foreign country, or could be amongst the best products which could exist in the world, or there could be a lot of factors that can be allied with providing value to you. But the whole differentiation lies in the fact that they are not working with the ideology of letting you have more of savings. That's not going to be the ideology of Nature's Basket, because indeed as compared to DMart, the products are definitely going to be a little more expensive, and even the merchandise which is being offered will be completely different, because they are indeed catering to a different target market segments, right. Now the next element which you need to understand is brand personality. Now brand personality is all about associating human characteristics with the brand, or it is more like associating a few traits with the brand which we might actually associate with humans. Let's say you might find a brand to be very simple, very rugged, very sincere, or very exciting. So all these qualities can also be kind of associated with humans, right. So brand personality precisely helps to create an emotional connection with consumers, and it also helps them to differentiate the brand from competitors. Brand personality traits could be friendly, sophisticated, innovative, or trustworthy, among others. So what we'll do is, let's say if you are talking about Taj Hotels as compared to other hotels, or maybe let's say if you are comparing them with Fab Hotels, there is a different brand personality that can be associated with Taj. So it is more classy, sophisticated, and royal. So you might be wondering how this can be concluded, or why we are associating terms like classy, sophisticated, royal, and when we are talking about Taj Hotels. So what we'll be doing now, we'll be looking at this video, and this is definitely going to answer this question. This video has been officially derived from the YouTube channel of the Taj Hotel. So please have a look at this video, and I am very sure you will be able to understand why classy, sophisticated, and royal have been associated with Taj group of hotels, right. This is again one of the models which I wanted you to understand has been proposed by Aakar. This basically says that there are 5 personality traits which can be associated with, let's say, products and services, and precisely we will be utilizing this to understand retailers, right. So first personality trait is sincerity, which is all about wholesomeness, trustworthiness, honesty, authenticity, and cheerfulness. Now if you talk about India, maybe you can associate with the Tata group, right. With respect to the services they are offering, you will definitely see a sense of sincerity in them, right. Now when you are talking about excitement, it basically captures the essence of passion, adventureness, enthusiasm, boldness, and imagination, right. Now when you get to the next category, which is about competence, it precisely captures intelligence, dependability, wise, principled, and conscientious. Now whenever you are talking about competence, you can definitely associate it with companies like Volvo, right? You can even associate this with brands like Apple because the products have that competence to deliver on the quality, right? Now another personality trait is sophistication. Now this precisely takes account of things like elegance, composure, worldliness, confidence and tact. Now even when you are talking about sophistication, Apple and its products can be considered as a part of this. Now when you get to the traits like ruggedness, what you look at is precisely toughness, athletic, sturdy, outdoorsy and reliable. So one brand which can be considered in this category is definitely Woodland. Now Woodland is a brand which can be associated with traits like ruggedness, strong and outdoorsy. So as far as this is concerned, in order to get the essence of why we consider Woodland to be a rugged brand and how even the company is trying to portray itself to be one, we'll be understanding this from two advertisements which were released by Woodlands. One of them has been derived from the Woodland Explore More and another one from Woodland Bangladesh, and both are the official YouTube channels of the Woodland. So we'll be looking at these videos one by one and then we'll be moving forward.
Shoes with extra grip. Woodland. Extra tough shoes from Woodland.
So I really hope that you enjoyed looking at the videos. So we are definitely discussing a few exciting elements like brand image, and we are also trying to understand how a retailer can actually give a push to customer loyalty, and we will be carrying on the discussion forward with respect to the brand personality in the next session. So looking forward to meeting you in the next session. Wishing you a good day for now. Thank you.